Anglican parish churches contain a whole host of details, but sometimes it's difficult to see those details on our visits. I've visited over 13,000 churches in England and Wales and have amassed a vast collection of images, and today I want to share some of those with you. Each one relates to either a head or a face. Here at Western Longville we have a tongue poker, a figure that's warning us against gossip. So many medieval faces have been lost. This is a small portion of a medieval wall painting at Ampney St Mary in Gloucestershire. Two very anxious faces take part in the Passion story. At the Reformation, so many faces were painted over. In this case, at Binham in North Norfolk, the faces were completely covered by black letter Elizabethan texts and have only recently come to light. Although medieval artists were painting pictures of people who had lived 1500 years earlier, they brought them into the modern day. And this glorious picture of St Matthew at Corston in Norfolk shows him as an old balding man wearing glasses. Glasses had been invented in about 1300, so here we are 150 years later when they were often commonplace enough to be included in paintings. The medium in which our faces appear often dictate the clarity of the picture, and stained glass was one of those materials that allowed full detail to be recorded, as in this musical angel in the church of Warham on the North Norfolk coast. While most freestones in England are difficult to carve, the use of alabaster in the late Middle Ages allowed much finer finishes, and here we have Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester, in the chapel of Warwick Parish Church in Warwickshire. Robert Dudley had had his monument painted to make his effigy more realistic, and the same can be seen here at Harefield, where the Countess of Derby, Alice Spencer as she'd been born, had her monument erected during her lifetime so that she could determine how she would be seen by posterity. She died in 1637, and this is one of the finest effigies from that first half of the 17th century when so much was colour and grandeur. The Countess of Derby came from one of the wealthiest families in the country, so was able to afford a three-dimensional effigy, but not all noble families were that wealthy. Here we find Robert Rich and his wife. He was the first Earl of Warwick, died in 1619 and is buried in a tiny remote church called Snarford in Lincolnshire. It's just a very low relief representation of the couple, and it's typical of the 1620s. Medieval craftsmen often used their friends, neighbours and colleagues as inspiration for their work. Today, those people live on in images in our English parish churches, which collectively form one of the greatest public art collections in the world.